Play some music. Sapphie is arriving, so let's start shortly. Hi, Sapphie girl. Hi, Sapphie girl. Good job, baby girl. Hi, Sally. Good morning, good morning. It's just a handful of us, just Sally, just you and me are talking. So anyway, without further ado, let me jump in it. I always like live audience. It's much better to bring your energy as well, but this is not bad either. So happy birthday, Leo, and happy birthday to all my dear fluffy main like friends. So of course we are going to start with you, and the next one, hi Kelsey, nice to see you. And the next one is going to be this buddy over here. So my dear Leo, Leo, let me just put this here. Hopefully you're going to have a wonderful birthday. I cleaned the table twice, and each time after cleaning, Sapphie went with her little things, and then I guess on a fresh film it just shows. So I guess it's kind of like what they call it, pissing against the wind kind of a thing. So it is what it is. Maybe Sapphie really needs to leave her imprint, and the energy is important. So let's do that. So Sally is a Leo. Sorry, my coughing. I have a bad asthma. So this weather in Toronto, we are going to be having 42 degrees with humidex over the next few days, and this is not normal to me. What is this, Leo? What is this? You're getting a whole bunch of cards here. So you're getting the Fool reversed, 10 of Wands reversed, and Queen of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Knight of Swords reversed, 8 of Cups, and then King of Cups. Well, clearly there is a couple over here that is present in your life. That couple is not together anymore, and has been some kind of like emotional bond between them. They could both be, I don't know, water sign, or it could be emotional affair of some sort. But I also see the other people around. I see Page and a Knight, which could be, I guess, your children, and one is younger, one is older, kind of a thing. Knight of Swords, when it comes reversed, it kind of talks about goals, but it talks about harshness. So there are also some kind of secrets that are connecting to that. Somebody's walking away in the situation. So clearly this bi-weekly period for you is hello knitting yogi, how are you? Are you guys also sizzling hot in Maine? The Fool reversed is really interesting card, right? So the Fool is always talking about, even in the best of times, well, just jump, take a leap, and it could be foolish, right? Even on that level, it's just kind of like, it's one of those things that is kind of borderline. But when it is reversed, it is really talking about everybody knows this is not going to go well, right? Like leave the matches, you know, to the kids, not going to go well, kind of a thing, right? So there's like some situation already that is kind of like brewing over here, and that situation could be including something that is just too hard, something that maybe you carried way too long, something that could be secrets, because that's the card talking about it. And almost like I'm feeling like, hey, I'm it's enough of it. You may be feeling there is like certain emotional burden that has been placed upon your shoulders. Hello, Barbie. Hello, Chris. And you want to feel yourself, and almost like feel like you kind of like felt that there is like a segment of your life that is taking away enjoyment of life from you. And the other people had, I mean, abilities to influence you, but one person, if these are children, then one is a positive and one is a negative influence. If not, there are people also, you'll have one positive, but that one who is a positive is going to feel like lukewarm positive. Hey, you guys, that's Sapphie and Tiger, like this is their daily routine. And ultimately, somebody's so freaking fed up with the situation. Somebody's saying, look, I deserve better. I really deserve better. Because that's what the Eight of Cups ultimately means. If somebody walks away, this is kind of like that cave for the men. This is like when women have enough if it's enough. Because they're saying it's better to be alone than to be with somebody who is possibly emotionally mistreating me. Because the Knight of Cups is kind of like, you know, where is my little prop? Is my little unicorn here? With this pandemic, my place is becoming really, really untidy. So this is the King of Cups. He's telling you all the right things. He's telling you he loves you. He's telling you everything is okay. But you know that there are like issues happening, right? And that this is really not the person who he or she is. So maybe he just simply needs some dental work. But I'm really picking up, I really don't like when the major figures are reversed, because it's really indicating that somebody's leaving, putting on one face, but they're like almost the opposite of it, right? So when it comes to cups, it's that emotional component that we are really talking about here. So Leo, let me grab a few gypsy cards over here. So you have falseness, and this is also about lies. There's like somebody spreading lies, somebody telling lies, somebody spreading gossip. And maybe you're like caught in a crossfire. I don't think this is you, because it just looks like that possibly you are the one who is saying enough, kind of a thing, right? So, and it also shows desire, which to me links with this King of Cups, because King of Cups is always kind of like making you be hopeful and have desire, but it's also kind of can link to this, because these are the cups in your reading, right? These are those emotional cards, and also kind of like reflects to the future. So there is like this hopefulness over here over something. It's kind of really interesting over here. This is the ultimate star card, right? Which would be in tarot, but this is kind of roses, so she could be some kind of like a siren or a mermaid of some sort, but she's holding this big anchor. She's saying, are you sure you won't want to go there? Because I'm here and I can kind of like solidify you. Or also could mean that this is connecting to this, and it's kind of lifting that anchor. And when she's looking here in a distance again, at this stage, it's kind of like all roads are open of some sort. In any case, my dear Leo, I see that, and maybe this is because it's your birthday, you are kind of like fed up with some falseness, with some let's say people pretending with something that you know it's a lie. You clearly also don't want to live a lie either, so you're actually making that quote-unquote executive decision to look for what is the best for you and good for you. So happy birthday. This is actually one of the best decisions you can make for your birthday. So look at this, Barbie is already doing this. So yes guys, please like if you're around. And the next one will be Libra. Libra. Pretty Libras. Usually your Libras ended up being somewhere at the tail end, so this is really, really good. So let's do the Libras here. And for doors today, I figured I'm going to do yes or no with Lenormand, and that's going to be kind of like a little different. So there's your moon, Sally, Libra. For me, it's my ascendant. I think Barbie being the chief moderator, she's Libra, so there we go. I think Chris likes Libras. Look at that. We are all rotating around Libras. So let's see. Libras. It kind of like sometimes sucks having that Libra in you, I have to tell you, Barbie, because it's always kind of like that debate going on. Heck, you know, it would be nice, like, you just kind of like make this determination and you go kind of like forward. So let's see, Libras, what do we have for you? Did they not say it's not the debate going on all the time? This is the ultimate card of this, right? So she has these two swords. She's thinking. It's between her head and between her heart. It makes sense. I love this fellow, but he is a vagabond. He doesn't work. It doesn't make sense for me to be with him, but I love him. He makes me feel extraordinary. I can be 10 times myself. Yes, he's going to get the job. No, it makes no sense. I'll be paying the bills. So this is kind of like conversation that takes place when you're this person. So she spends too much time stuck, right? Either decision to stay or not to stay would be more productive than really being in this place. But she is really torn because like these two sides of that kind of balancing scale are equal, and it's really hard to kind of like move forward. And of course the Tower moment shows up. Of course, when this happens, you know, do I love him or don't I love him? Do I want to be with him or with her, or I don't want to be with him or her, kind of a thing. The Tower shows up, guys, as you know, when we need to clean our act, when the situation needs to be stabilized, and when certain things are just going in the wrong direction. This is like when you take, what's up? What's up? You want to talk about Libra? You're Aquarius. Are you a Libra ascendant? Yeah, you're like me. Are you Libra moon? No, just ascendant. Okay. So the can I speak now? Thank you. So the Tower shows up when you know, construction of the situation was not right. You know, I call it sometimes playing poker with sweaty palms. Everybody knows you don't have a game and you think that somehow you're going to bluff people in it. So Tower shows up and there is like this big shakedown. It's much better when it's upright than it's reversed, because it's something so shocking that is really coming to your attention. This way it's still happening, but you are kind of going through that la 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 la. I'm not hearing it, I'm not seeing it, and everybody's like thinking why you're so clueless. So that would be a situation where, you know, everybody knows somebody's cheating on you and you just kind of like saying, oh no, you're crazy, kind of a thing. You know, when you see this politician's wife kind of like going to this public embarrassment next to their cheating husband and pretending they trust them, that would be the Tower reversed. When it's upright, none of that is happening. You are raging, everybody's raging in people's head. It's ruled by Mars, and Mars is not like, little kind of pretty cat or a pretty bunny planet. It's kind of like right in your face. It's a tiger, it's fierceness, right? But the good news about the Tower is that it's going to shake down everything that is not sustainable. And when that is shaken down, and this in your case could be some jealousy as well, over here you're not feeling something is right, you're processing things to your head, and then it comes to this explosion, because maybe you also feel you're mistreated. Maybe you feel you're kind of like putting forward much more than the other person, right? I'm surprised that we didn't get Six of Pentacles over here, but this is nonetheless that kind of thinking of some sort where you're realizing that action is needed, and that action is almost like pushed down on you. So it's kind of like regularly that we have this. It's kind of really interesting because I just did my daily tarot for the next 9 days, and like I got 3 times Seven of Pentacles coming through, and 7 is like, this is 7 as well. So 7s are always when we have to well, almost universe or God or whatever you believe in is pushing you back on a track. You strayed away too much and now you're coming back. Thanks, Heidi. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. And then you have justice. So Libra, this is really going to be big 2 weeks actually, rather, for you. Two majors. So when the majors show up, and you probably know, if you guys are interested to take my course, this is a really wonderful time when it's so slow. I pay more attention to my students. But justice is first of all representing you. Don't you see how I said about Six of Pentacles didn't show up? Well, the other card with scale showed up. Six of Pentacles has the scale balanced, which is basically telling you need to learn how to balance. But here is this understanding that things are never in balance, that it's always going to be up and down, and that we always have these kind of like tower moments. And look at this is the energy of 2, and this is energy of 2. So we have a 2 and 2 is 4, and 7 is 11, and this goes back to this card. It goes back to you. So it's that 11 is some kind of healing energy. So healing energy is being sent your way of some sort. But not any kind of healing. It's universe is telling you need to kind of like rupture certain constructs that you have, certain beliefs. It's easier for an air sign than for any other element, because we tend to always think too much, overanalyze, and probably you kind of hear from your friends, okay, just take it on its kind of like face, don't kind of like take it as it is, don't think too much in it. But no, you're really now looking back and analyzing and trying to figure out what is that you want. But this card is not about what is what you want. This card, you know, Rolling Stones, is like you're going to get what you need, and that's the most important thing. And you might be coming into some kind of money. Actually, that's interesting. That can be a positive tower moment where maybe something happens that makes a situation even more extreme, right? So for example, in this example that I was giving, you have a boyfriend that is not necessarily pulling his weight, and you're wondering, like, I mean, if you're too much, with thinking that you should demand that he kind of like brings also his bacon home, because there are so many other benefits and everything. After all, we are in the 21st century. But then maybe something happens, that you're getting promotion or something that is making situation even more dire. But then again, this is like, could simply mean in this situation that you're realizing, oh, wait a minute. So now we are financially okay. So this person is so great with my kids or with animals. And I mean, cooked meal is always there. So why not having this traditional roles reversed? I can do it. So there is like resolution. When justice shows up upward, you actually are feeling really strong. You really kind of get things. You really think, like, I mean, that karma is dealing with you, because look at this, you're getting priest as well. So money and priest, that will be the Hierophant, equivalent of the Hierophant. That is really telling me you're putting your foot down, you're setting some kind of rules, some new things are rebuilt, and they're rebuilt on your terms. Sounds good, Libra? Well, I would be pretty happy, and for my ascendant, for a change, it would be good to finally have this tower moment, so we are over any kind of like crapola, right, that has been happening in our lives. So that will be Libra. So let's see who is next. Good morning, Heidi. How are you? Who else is boiling wherever you are? No, Chris is, where are you, Barbie? Chris is in California, I think. Kelsey is Maine, right? Sally, she's in Florida. Oh, Sally, must be boiling over there. I don't know how you can handle it. So this is Taurus. Libra and Taurus, they meet in the card that is called the Empress. So this is really interesting that I have them one after another, which tells me it's going to be both for Libra and for Taurus, kind of like a beautifying time. You guys now know that we have Venus out of retrograde, Mercury is out of retrograde, and this really means that we can finally get our hair done. Finally, the hairdressers are opening, we can get our nails done, and two signs that feel this is more important than any other sign are Taurus and Libra. That's why you're met in that Empress thing. You like nurture and pamper other people, but you also like to be nurtured and pampered, and that is very, very, Easy. So 95. Is it amazing, Barbie, that we are actually hotter in Toronto? That we are hitting, I think, 100 today, and over the next 2 days, 110 to 120. Do you know how hard it is to breathe? Like, I mean, my asthma, which I was just diagnosed with recently, is really acting up. So it's really, really hard. You kind of like literally melt, but you don't melt properly. You go and try to melt. And you probably know that I'm overweight, and you're thinking like, why don't I melt? Why don't I go out and I just simply melt? But you just sweat instead. So it's kind of like weird how this really works, isn't it? All right, Taurus. Enough chit-chatting. And this you amazing is still jumping on my screen. It's kind of hilarious. Ooh, 10 of Swords reversed, but it's the first card. Page of Pentacles, and don't mind me coughing, that's kind of like normal when you have these pulmonary issues. So 10 of Swords, it's not really a card that you really get excited when you see it, right? So 10 of Swords is showing this dude who is dead, kind of like put a fork in me, or put a sword in me rather, to say I am dead. There are like little details, like he's holding these kind of like fingers in benediction. He's basically giving us a sign. It's almost like this murder mystery. I was watching Knives Out last night, and it's kind of like this old-fashioned Agatha Christie murder mystery where a dying person writes the name in blood or something. So he's saying, my rules have betrayed me, or somebody who was implementing rules betrayed me. But it is a 10, so it's over. It's done with, which means some idea, some person, some process has died. Something just really didn't work out. I mean, it can mean literal dying, but, you know, I don't see other cards that support that, right? But 10 of Swords is more or less talking about the idea dying, or something is not working well. And hence there's this new beginning, because pages are very similar to... Well, yeah. Do you love everybody here on chat? Who you like the most? Do you love Sally? Do you love Heidi? Do you love Barbie? No? Okay, you love Barbie? Are you sure? Okay, do you love Chris? Oh, do you love everybody? Yeah, it's good girl. So my Taurus, a Page of Pentacles is almost like Ace of Pentacles, which would be a really good omen for you. Like, this is talking about this phase of building. But when it comes to page state, you're not necessarily building it from the scratch. You know, sometimes you put a seed with hope it's going to hatch, and kind of like start a business with hope it's going to build. That will be the Ace of Pentacles, or a long-term friendship with hoping in a long-lasting kind of bond. But this is like something that has already been started, something that has already been in some kind of process, and now it's entering some kind of like second phase, right, of some sort, right? So it's kind of like really important to kind of like understand this. You are clearly entering a new kind of like a way. Oh, look at that, kitties are hearing Sapphie. Sapphie, other kitties are listening. Do you want to send some message to Pip and Twinkie? Do you love Pip? And Twinkle? There you go. Hopefully they can chit-chat to each other. And then there is like something for you guys that you have learned. You have learned a big lesson. And never mind that I'm having this little bit interrupted with Sapphie. Guys, you cannot enter reading in a vacuum. It actually wouldn't make sense, and don't even trust it if the reader doesn't take everything else that is going on in account. I don't know if you ever guys watched this series Fleabag. It's hilarious. If you didn't watch it, watch it. You just need to pass the first episode, which is kind of like off-putting, but if you pass it, you're going to get to the stage where, you know, an atheist is dating a priest, right? And I know it's weird Catholic or Protestant priest anyhow. And each time they kind of like want to do something, a kiss, the painting falls down, or something like that, which is the sign. Very similar as with the reading. So there are like lots of interruptions over here. And maybe you have been on some kind of process, maybe you have been in some kind of progress, but things were coming in the way. Kids were coming in the way. Page of Pentacles could be kids, or you just simply need to clean your plate. The clarity for you is coming from understanding that you really don't want to do certain things. You are tired of fighting for someone or fighting for something. And this is coming really, really clear over here, right? I would also, you're also going to pay attention to somebody's moods and emotions and their demands. And you're going to be scratching your head and saying, why is it that you're kind of like doing this and I'm doing all the work and you're doing all the demanding? So you'll be kind of like sorting things out, and you'll start moving forward in a very small incremental steps. So small that they will not notice the shift in you, but you're clearly having new goals. You're clearly kind of like setting yourself to go in a completely new direction. So that's going to be very, very important over here. Jealousy. It's kind of really interesting because I was looking like in 10 and 19, which is the Sun card. And for some reason, the Sun card didn't show up to me. It showed up the Moon card, which is right under. And the Moon and the Sun is all good. It's talking about this clarity, right? Because here we have this dark, right? And here we have this yellow, the light. So it does make sense that kind of like linked together. You see somebody kind of like waiting in the bushes, somebody kind of like, this doesn't necessarily have to be in a relationship that somebody is jealous of your relationship, but I feel that somebody is jealous of your life. Somebody is jealous of you having it together. Somebody is jealous of, something that you have, or even peace of mind, or, somebody needs drama for them to function, and they want to introduce that element in your life. And it seems to me that you don't want that. It seems to me that you're saying, okay, you just stay outside. You just stay. I need to isolate certain people. Maybe you're simply cleaning the house. Maybe people who you feel they quote unquote betray you, or they kind of like do negative things, you just kind of like don't want to have that around. So that's where the jealousy card shows up. And loss. And I kind of like I heard a word before I pulled the card, and the word was dare. Because I thought this maybe saying something about them, but it is meaning their loss. They didn't pick up on your clues in time. That's all this means. So Taurus, long-winded, all over the place, but don't allow distractions, or allow distractions to tell you the story, rather to say. Allow that things come from all the places, because you will eventually sort them out. You will put them in the proper space, and you kind of are going to come to conclusion who is worthy of staying and who is not. So Sally, things may resonate with you because probably of your Libra thing, because they're kind of connected. But everybody who is on this chat, as I explained, every reading to some parts of the reading will resonate to you because you are on live. And that simply means, just like with me, every single thing that I'm going to kind of come out might have a little morsel of my life, because I'm kind of the bridge, right? You cannot cross that without me kind of doing that reading. So the same thing with you guys are the bridge to the energies that I'm tapping. So for sure that's going to happen. Because if you really think about this, the signs are just random. That I'm saying just the date from this and this is this. No, it has the other subtones, and if you're here in live, then you'll get much more than the others. So cool for that. So the next sign is going to be Aries. Let's see what we have for our Arian people over here. So Aries. You're welcome, Sally. Aries. And we have Six of Wands. We have also Page of Pentacles, as for Taurus. And then we have Page of Swords. So it's a little bit, oh my gosh, you know what came to my mind? My brother came to my mind. My brother in a much younger version. He's Aries. He's very rebellious in a different way from Aquarius. So can you imagine my parents, what hell they had to go through having an Aquarian and Aries child? It's a living hell, right? So this card is about victory. This card is about, it's interesting, your book Magician is showing up. A magician is relating to Gemini, which are basically the end of May and June, the 6th month, which now this is a card 6, right? So this is the victory, and it's also very phallic. And when I saw this card, I thought that maybe some Geminis are really reassessing their romantic life, their sexual life. This is not necessarily romantic. Sex and romance is not exactly the same. Some people just go to sex, right? Then kind of like trying to really learn about a person and go to this next level. Sex is only level 1, and you have like 9 more levels, kind of a thing. It tells me that you're actually getting there. Like there is like either a resolution that you're making, and what is happening on my end, the line is cracking. Okay, it did come back. And why is it telling me 2 hours? It's really weird. So Page of Pentacles is again the slow motion of some sort, and maybe because you're making these kind of like solutions or resolutions and you're appearing different to people around you, maybe other people are thinking like, WTF, right? What's going on? It's not the same person, kind of a thing, right? And so I don't know if you're connected to Gemini, if you're connected to air signs, or if you're connected to earth signs of some sort, right? But I'm seeing here that there's like somebody who is watching you. This Page of Swords usually comes up in Mercury retrograde if you're still in the shadow. It's almost like somebody is lurking in the shadow. They're like spying on you. They're watching you. They're waiting for the wrong move. And maybe you already know that, right? Of some sort. Like, let me see. I just have enough, some error showing up over here for me. I don't know what it means. Let me just refresh it on my end. So Page of Swords means also that somebody might be telling you a lie, that somebody might be providing or feeding you with information purposely, or purposely omitting information. So you ask a stranger on the road, hey, is this road leading so-and-so over there? Yeah, it does. You go there and there's like no left and right. There's like a long path of another like in 300 kilometers, miles, whatever you want to use it. And you realize finally when you hit the next town that you were on the wrong path all along. The stranger told you wrong. So this is kind of like somebody purposely derailing, or worse yet, not even telling you the truth. So it's kind of really interesting, but I do feel I'm going to have stability, and that stability is coming from the fact that you don't want to be in unstable situations. And it looks like that instability or people around who haven't been serious or you haven't been serious were okay for a while, but that is right now completely changing. And that's why, like, I mean, it's a suspect to the other people. Why is this happening? And I got, like, I mean, 3,000 cards, but I don't know why I felt enthused to get these 3. Look at that. Priest, House, and Fortune. You guys are getting serious, or you want to get serious, or you're getting serious over someone, or you're just turning your luck around, because the Priest card is definitely talking about big rules, not your rules. You're saying, okay, you know what, these all rules have been invented for a reason, and the reason is whatever it is. Maybe it was to control people, but it works. It works when you have 2 people with same sets of rules. We adhere to it. We know how to go forward. Maybe simply it's kind of like changing the rule of your relationship. You're no longer, let's say, non-committal. Now you're committal. Now you're having this talk, and maybe you're even moving in of some sort. And you know, maybe you are having opposition from your friends, from your family, but you know what? You're on the right path. The Fortune card is over here, which means, you know, you need to follow your own destiny. You need to follow your own luck. You need to go in this direction. So this new attitude, these new rules is going to help, no matter what these people are doing, no matter in what kind of like darkness they're lurking. Not your problem. Their mental state is not your problem. Just kind of like think about that, right? So that has to be important. Look at Sally sending us all these energies. It's just amazing. And I had to turn the air conditioning off because it's so freaking loud. It's right next here to my computer. and I'm starting to sweat. So let me just try to get the fan toward me to make this a little bit more tolerable. Man, this heat sucks. And like when I put in air conditioning, it's like 19 degrees, whatever this is. I don't know, 65, 66 in Fahrenheit. The next sign is Sagittarius. Saggies. You also usually get to go last in these readings. So good to see you going forward. Okay, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Sapphie is right next to me. There is like the little kitty tree, and she's sleeping in her pod that she loves. Okay, Saggies. Oops. We have now 6 of Wands upright. We have the Empress reversed, and we have the Hermit reversed. 9 and 9. There is a jealousy. There are like some things that are going in the darkness. Somebody wants a victory. You want to win. There is like also possibly you want to win with your sexual prowess over here. Maybe you are the winner in the situation altogether. You also have the Magician. Like you feel you can kind of like pull wool over somebody else's faces, or you can just exercise magic, right? Either or. And again, I see some kind of Gemini connection of some sort, right? But this is also connection to that specific person in your life, the nourishment. And you feel that this is kind of like flying off the shelf. You're feeling this is no longer there. You feel you see, does it look to you that these people are together? He's into his own head. Her world is upside down of some sort, right? Because background here is the Magician. He feels, or this person feels, I can do whatever I want, and I'm so, like powerful, where this feels that there is some kind of a romance or some kind of like promise hasn't been fulfilled, right? And hence, I think you're being left out with some kind of like sense of loneliness, some kind of sense of missing out. The Hermit is always wandering this mountain with his lantern, and his lantern has this kind of like star in it. So you might be dealing with Virgo, you might be dealing with Aquarius, even with Leo, or Libras that I see over here. So when there is like this meandering going on, lots of thoughts come to you, clarity comes to you, you're not inundated with these daily distractions, so hence it's much easier for us to think. So instead of really coming up with some wisdom, instead of kind of like saying, look, this is the general truth, not my truth, not your truth, but the general truth, fact is a fact kind of a thing, right? And let's not make this into facts. But this is not happening in these 2 weeks. It almost looks like you feel maybe somebody pulling rug under your feet, but interestingly enough, you're still feeling very successful in the situation. Or maybe you're not looking into what is happening. Maybe you're not paying attention, because it almost looks like he's looking this way and she's looking that way. There is like no, what they call it, meeting of the minds of some sort over here. Hello, JK. Welcome. Let me see what else you get over here. You get misfortune, which will be the Tower moment, except it's actually a little bit bigger. Then you have visit, and then you have letter. So maybe you're having the Tower moment over here, guys. Maybe somebody's knocking you off the pedestal, or somebody's knocking you out of the situation where you thought everything is going well. And maybe you need to kind of like have a conversation with someone, because look at this, this is twice showing up, and maybe somebody shut you out, maybe you're shutting somebody out, but almost looks like this is not the solution. Solution is to communicate and try to figure out, I guess, what they call wisdom is to figure out all the needs and clarity. But this is not about needs. This is more like about needs, but this is more like about clarity and truth, right? So he's like shedding this light. I want to see this transparency. I want to see this light. So also literally this can mean a letter of some sort, email, text, something expressed in writing. So pay attention to the messages that you're getting in this period, because they'll be very important. If you miss them, then you'll be missing that clarity that is actually calling for. And missing it, it could mean you're going for another cycle, for another run of karma, and that's not fun. You have like 2 major arcanas, and that is really saying that you simply kind of like really need to pay attention. It's calling for you to really do that. So no, it's not your Wi-Fi, Sapphie, Sally. Something is wrong with YouTube. I keep getting these errors on my end. It's saying YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, and yet I have like a 250 megabytes on my end, which is not fiber optics, but it's pretty fast. So I refreshed it now again, and to see if that's going to help. But that's what happens when you're still behind some kind of like Mercury retrograde. So let's see. Pisces. We have the Pisces next. All right. What is in the store for you? What's in the store for you? But guys, you also need to see if you're having YouTube falling down or something, right? It means that messages that you're going to get are going to be intercepted or redirected. You might miss part of the messages for those of you who are live, and that means that this is purposely done. Not everybody is going to miss exactly the same message, right? And maybe for me, on my end, it means I need to repeat something and kind of like drill it in. So that's kind of like things that I have learned from doing this. So let's see. So now it's saying stream is healthy. You're good to go. All right. So let's see it, because you dropped lots of people out. So maybe that could be that Wi-Fi is kind of like going off. So now we have the Fool. For Pisces, we have 10 of Pentacles and we have 2 of Pentacles. So now this is really interesting. So the Fool is like, I mean, hey, okay, believe in yourself. Take this leap. Go for it, right? But there's like something about you that is freezing you, that you feel, oh my gosh, I don't know how, or I don't know why I should be doing that. It almost looks like that you feel like that you want to wiggle out. You know how you have like these 2 fishes, you know, like one is swimming in one direction, one another one, that is really representing you. Well, it kind of feels like that. Fool is like that jump into the unknown, right? Because look at him, he's looking this direction. This dude, he's like looking somewhere else, and they're looking here. So it's a whole bunch of people maybe who are having their own self-interest. I don't know if this is your family, that sort of like lots of things are happening. Maybe not necessarily everybody's on the same page, everybody's kind of like doing the same thing. But you know, the 10 of Pentacles reverse can also talk about inheritances, but it can also talk about being blocked from your own family, not having an access of some sort. It can also talk about some kind of cheating or some kind of like space where you're not really connecting, because 10 and 2 is 12, which is the Hangman, and it's reverse Hangman, which means that somebody's talking about doing sacrifices where truly they're not real sacrifices. So hence that kind of has to be looked upon as well, right? So I really think that you're going to say, I really don't care. I, at this stage, need to kind of look after me. It's my life. I need to live it. And if I have these barriers and I have these obstacles and I'm continuously hearing you're doing all of the sacrifices, I just really don't think it's my job to kind of keep doing and telling you to kind of like grow up, to start kind of like really calling spade a spade. You kind of like are tired. Like when anybody, but you specifically guys, get tired of discussing and nurturing, to you this could mean it's over. You just kind of like really don't wanna deal with this kind of, right? That could be the difference over here it is made. Officer. Maybe you're dealing with people who are very strict, who are very regimented, who Fool is like the air sign. Fool is like that lightness. It's just like everything is possible. That's God descending on this planet and checking out how it is. Really, did I create this good program, right? And let's see the errors and mistakes and kind of like if the matrix gets affected somewhere, right? Where this is some kind of rigidness of some sort. Like, I mean, and this is like almost like bringing you out of these big dreams, dreamland, into that reality. And that the reality is like, oh my God, like what is this? Like it feels like almost like somebody's feeling imprisoned. Somebody's feeling really, really constrained in the situation. Look at this, Officer and marriage, because this is also a card of marriage. It might not be your marriage, might be somebody else's marriage. Maybe you have been involved with somebody who didn't pick you, or maybe you left somebody who now picked somebody else. This really doesn't tell me this is your marriage. This really tells me there's like something happening, and maybe to you it's going to be a little bit discomfort, learning something, and it's going to leave you in some kind of emotional void. But you might not even find out about this week, because I can see this enthusiasm, you kind of like moving forward in a completely new direction. Because look at this, the Fool and jealousy. I definitely now see the third party. I definitely see something going on here, and you moving away from this entire situation. You are kind of like fed up with something, or you're basically saying, look, you're saying you're making all the sacrifices, you're doing this for me, I don't see it. What you need to do for me is A, B, C. No less, no more. I want to see it, otherwise shut up, kind of a thing, right? So you're kind of like really getting into the stage where you're either moving on your own, or, well, not you're either, you're moving on your own because you're really tired of somebody else's, let's say, BS promises. And so you're fully waking up and you're kind of like setting yourself on a new path. And Fool's path is basically the new kind of like cycle, which now it is whatever you want to make out of it. So that's really, really important. Hello, CBO Music. What did you miss? Well, you missed a few signs. You missed Aries, Taurus, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And we are going into Capricorn. Capricorn is next. So let's check Capricorns. Capricorns. Is it hot enough for you, CBO? I was just telling everybody this is becoming tropical in Toronto, so it's really, really hard for me, at least. I don't enjoy it. I met this girl in the park, and she was wearing long sleeves. What? Kind of what? And I'm sweating buckets, right? She said, oh, I just want it to be hotter. Just goes to show, you know. I said, just age where you have hot flashes and see if you will like it. Capricorn, you have jumpers. You have knights jumping out, and these two wanting to come out. You have Knight of Rods, you have Knight of Pentacles, and then you have 8 of Wands, and then you have 7 of Pentacles. Now this is really strange, almost like they're like, canceling each other out, right? So there are 2 knights, which could one represent you and one can represent somebody else. Maybe, you know, you want to stay close to somebody, and that somebody is maybe kind of like serving a kind of like role of a friend in your life, but you maybe want some more. Knight of Rods is person who wants sexual engagement, but not necessarily commitment. And Knight of Pentacles is a person who might be a little bit of a sexual, but somebody who is not moving with any kind of like speed, and especially not when reversed. But it's also somebody who is not necessarily, because when it's reversed, telling exact truthful feelings of some sort, right? So that is really kind of like interesting, right? So 8 of Wands is generally those love errors or love messages. When this card reverses, hello from North California, and hello, anyone is time for Pisces 4046. So 8 of Wands reversed still means messages, but they will be delayed, and that could be that you are simply, guys, getting affected with this Mercury retrograde shadow, because 7 and 8 is 15. 15 is the devil. This is your card, and it's also kind of like the thing that you have in tarot, you are continuously having that. I mean, Capricorn is like so solid, so sturdy, so hardworking, right? So knowing what to say rightfully. But they have this other side, like they are these horn dogs. They just like want to go nuts. They want to go crazy, right? So you can have the duality in the same person. I don't know who I can pull out as a famous Capricorn. Rod Stewart, right? He was like completely nuts, right? Like, I mean, out in the left field, and yet he turned out to be more put together than more people who have been, like, I mean, tie button up and stuff like that. So that's kind of like where the surprise comes in with Capricorns, right? So maybe you are reassessing the situation and saying, okay, maybe I have invested too much time into somebody or into something. This could be also a work colleague as well, because it's Pentacles, and something is either continuously having this phase is missed or delay is of some sort, and you're just maybe deciding that this is not for you. Seven of Pentacles is like when you make a decision that you don't really want to grow this bush, that this is just too much time, that it's not going to bear fruits in time, and it's kind of like time to move on. So that is kind of like what is really, really important. So yeah, so good to have the break, right? CBO music. I was out walking Tiger, and that was like, oh my god, I'm sweating. Look, love jumped out, but it's reversed. So you're in the amorous mode, but not really in love. I'm thinking like you're more into mood for sex. Something wrong about that, right? And maybe somebody else is feeling, oh, you just have me for the sex. Kind of like could be that kind of situation over here, right? So Pisces, you didn't get, like, the timestamp is at 40:46 for Pisces. You can just rewind back. Then you have a gift. Yeah, I see there is like something about romance, but I think that somebody wants more than you want, or you are just finding that maybe you really wanted this person, and then circumstances, you know, sometimes you're in love with somebody and just the circumstances get in the way, or timing is off, because there is something happening here. You're either sending a gift or receiving a gift, and this could be also somebody finally telling you what you need to know, what you need to hear. Somebody showing up. You guys will have really amorous time. It's going to be sex time, and I don't expect you to go and spend time listening to my monthly reading, because you'll be busy in bed. So not a bad kind of forecast for stuff. So there you go. All right, so who is next? And that's what you say, Barbie. Yeah. So after the readings, but I can give people what they're here, because they're giving us their energy, which kind of does help, but it will be better if they focus. So next one is us, Aquarians, when the moon. And let me not sing, because that's going to make everybody run away. So let's see. We are halfway. So you know what? Let's do Aquarius, and then we are going to do yes or no doors. So let's do this. Aquarians. 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 What do we have here? We have Temperance reversed. We have Four of Pentacles, and then we have Nine of Wands. Well, now this is really interesting. 9 and 9, right? So we are again talking about there is no patience. Aquarians, we are not very patient people. And it's really getting to the point that we feel that our security is affected. We kind of like climb up. And that's kind of like what I see, right? Temperance is about, when look at it, the world is behind that. It's just weird. Like there is like the exit. There is this door that we can take. And and we really want something to be finished. We want a new cycle. We want some kind of clarity. But it reversed. We are not able to open this door. And we really felt it's right there. It's kind of the carrot of the stick. You want to grab it, instead you slip and you kind of break your nose, kind of a thing, right? So there is like this angel dude who is mixing very opposite things. He's mixing a fire and water, and they create something really, really unique, right? But he reversed. So it's either the elements are not there, maybe two parties are not able to communicate of some sort, and hence we are finding this kind of like solace. We are finding this kind of, some kind of like refuge in the solace kind of a thing. The fours are like this is the five, this is going out on the limb, but this is kind of like about us going in our own head, kind of like saying, well, I still have this, I'm still kind of like doing this, I'm still okay. But the walls are erected, like we have our own back, we have our back up for some reason. But nonetheless, because everything else adds to 9, and also like the last two cards are like the Hermit and this one, we are kind of like learning something out of the situation. So this is not kind of wasted, because usually when you climb up, yeah, sure, you protect yourself, but you also protect, you don't allow this good energy to come through, right? But here is like meaning that we are finally processing whatever we are processing, and we kind of like move forward. We kind of like know that we want to do something, and we are putting a limit to how much more effort we are going to put into that. So in our case, it's just like one more step. I kind of like feel that this got me stuck, but we also feel, look, I still need to keep trying. You know how people sometimes give up, whatever this is. Maybe it's your battle with insurance company. Maybe it's the battle with your spouse. Maybe it's the battle with the freaking police. Maybe it's the battle with your neighbor. And maybe it's something that you feel like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? I just really don't want to do it anymore. It doesn't make sense. I'm stupid. They're trash, whatever, epithets you're putting on it. This is really telling me that, hey, you're saying, this was the good thing, this was the bad thing, this is why certain things didn't create this magic. That's why I need to kind of like withdraw a little bit. But moving forward after all and saying, okay, now I reassessed, now I recouped, I kind of like licked my wounds, and I'm kind of like more seasoned warrior as a result of it. So that is really, really important, right? So let's see. Love and judge. Love, judge, and misfortune. Love, judge, misfortune. How the heck would I glue that? So this is that maybe we wanted to impact some karma. Maybe this could be the simple warning that we don't have to do actually anything. This could be possibly about putting things in balance and having this grace to go about that. And maybe we have been harshly judged. Maybe that was kind of like authority that stepped in, or whatever it is. Could be legal authority, could be police authority, could be housing authority, could be our boss of some sort, right? This could be that we kind of like felt that maybe maybe we'll feel they'll be on our side. But this is really telling me another story. This is almost like here, like where, you really need to pick yourself up and count your blessings in order to get out of this basically everything burning that we see over here, right? Because misfortune card is really much bigger than Tower, because in the Tower card, people are jumping off this tower and they're actually ultimately surviving. They don't have a place to live, but they are alive. Where here, it's only one dude that survived, and actually not in this deck. In this deck, it's a man carrying a baby. So actually that probably modifies my interpretation a little bit. So this arrow is going up. So there's like this high and lofty ideas, but his hand is down. He's grounding things down. He's looking at the strict rules and what can be done. But here there's like something new that is burn out of these ashes, out of this amber, something new. And that's why we are seeing, I guess, that angle, that possibility in which we to go. So I would say this is not going to be very romantic 2 weeks, even though this could mean that some of you will really just think about find the romance with somebody maybe in a legal profession, or somebody in a very strict profession, accountant, lawyer, policeman, I don't know, officer of some kind of like bylaw or whatever. And this is also saying that we will be very, very stubborn, and we will be just really like a dog with a bone. Even though maybe the project is not as big, maybe everything is crashing around us, but we will still continue, which kind of like pretty much does sound like Aquarius, right, guys? Any Aquarian over here aside from me? Okay, because remember that the door, the world can open, and that's kind of like really, really important. So, yes, now we are doing the doors. And the doors means you ask yourself yes or no question. Actually, I'm not going to close this down because I'm going to do it differently. So you guys pick a door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. You just pick it right now. Just pick it. Just say to yourself 1, 2, or 3. Because I'll first do the reading for door number 1, then I'm going to do the reading for door number 2, and then for door number 3. You just cannot pick all 3. You can pick different questions for different doors, that kind of stuff. Okay. So if you pick door number 1, here we go. Is it going to be yes, or is it going to be no? And keep in mind when I do yes or no with Lenormand, it's a little bit different than from, don't necessarily look at the cards that jump out. So for people who pick door number 1, will this question be answered yes or no? Will the question be answered yes or no? All right. So guys, the answer is overwhelming no. Well, not necessarily overwhelming. So let me just remove the card. So it will be no and maybe no that was sent as an answer. So that would be a negative direction for the door number 1. So let's see the door number 2. What's going to happen there? Door number 2. Who picked the door number 2? So yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, door number 2. Okay, I think this is it. So for door number 2, the answer is yes. So that's going to work out for you if the yes is what you wanted. And for the door number 3, I don't know if everybody's there because it looks like I'm kind of like stuck on the screen, or maybe it's stuck the thing. Let me try to refresh it. And the door number 3 is door number 3 is, I have a bundle of cards here. Oops. I guess that's what showed up. So let's see what I see for you guys. These are so far all no's. Yeah, I don't have enough yeses to rebalance. So there we go. So this is a no as well. And it's almost going to happen in a hit. It's going to feel like yes for the door number 3, and then it's going to just like turn around. Something really negative will happen. So there you go. All right, so the next one, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, because one of them must be a Leo tag. So, and the Leo is next, so we are skipping you because you got the right away because it was your birthday. So again, happy birthday, Leo. If you're a Leo here and you're waiting for Leo, you can scroll back to 250, and that's where is the Leo. And the next one is Virgo. Let's see, Virgo. And Virgo. Let's see, Virgos. Virgo. What not you, Barbie? What does it mean? You are you able to see it? Because I did see lots of people just like drop off. Like I can see going up and down. like crazy, which means the line is not good. But now it's saying the bit rate is much higher, so I just got back into rhythm somehow with this all this refreshing. So hopefully it helps. So here we go. Let's see what we have here. And we have the Lovers, we have the Hermit, we have Six of Swords, and we have Queen of Swords. Well, now that is interesting. This is really telling me first and foremost that you'll be feeling very serious in this period of time, right? The Lovers and the Hermit, it's going to be a choice. Like, I mean, they're two very, very strong cards. The Hermit is your card to start with, right? You're looking into wisdom of some sort. You're like examining your relationship. I feel that some of you maybe have left your relationship, or even if you didn't leave it physically, it felt distant. It felt like, you know, that you just really don't know if you really should be there. Because look at these two swords that are really showing up. You also have two sixes, which is really telling me that there is like interpretation of some relationship that you have that is meant to be, that is kindred spirit, that is a soulmate, right? And then you have this appearance of Queen of Swords. So you have lots of air over here. Maybe you're dealing with air, or maybe you're like lots of thoughts about relationships or people around you, right? Because you are simply grounding it, right? And the Hermit can also represent Aquarius besides you. And the Lovers is something standing in for Gemini. So Queen of Swords is standing up for the other air signs as well. So all of that overwhelming air is simply kind of like benefiting us in kind of like ways that we are kind of like putting words to what we need to say, that we are able to kind of like start this process. So this simply means that maybe something really got hard for you, and maybe you have checked out literally, physically, or checked out thinking, you know, I'll attend to that later, or it's time for me to leave. But the Queen of Swords is coming back, and she's saying, look, let's cut through the garbage. Let's cut through all this nonsense and BS that has been going on, and let's do things right. So this is like the ultimate problem solver, kind of like a person. It's not about like King of Swords coming before somebody and somebody being fair to you. This is somebody who is like a really go-getter, but it's also somebody who can be at times too forward, too crude, too blunt. And just because of that, even though the words he or she is saying are correct, it can be harsh. It can be hard to process. But I really don't think it's going to be harsh for you in this particular case. Maybe somebody has left you, and now they're telling you the reasons why, and what they have been doing with their time, or what conclusions they have reached. And so they're like not wasting your time. If you really want to know, they're not coming back to just check things out. They actually really went through this completely mental process about it. They maybe are carrying the gift, or maybe they feel you're a gift to them. There is going to be something. Oh my gosh, yes, a lover showing up, lover with a gift, something exciting, something is really, really happening. Something, I think in your case, is restarting. You have like this really soulmate-y connection over here with this person. It's kind of like something that you felt, maybe you felt you needed your space, and now they're saying, okay, it was enough of your space, now we kind of go to our space, not necessarily my space. So there's like somebody with a big heart coming through, and you know, it's going to feel comfortable. It's going to feel like home for you. Like, I mean, you have two major arcanas. That's a big deal. I had quite a few signs with two majors in the reading, which means it's going to be a period of these 2 weeks where lots of decisions will be made. Big decisions that will move us forward. This is on a personal level, but it's also on global level, on governmental level. You will see that we will finally kind of like come on the same page, and that is going to be very, very important. So Barbie's asking, what was 3, yes or no? It wasn't. It was no, unfortunately. It was like something that started like yes, something is going to look very promising, and then it's just going to collapse, unfortunately, right? All right. Then we go. And then we go in Cancer. Cancer, people, you're next. Cancer. Okay. Weird. I'm writing here, like in 59 seconds. I figured I could have kind of like postponed this. It's okay. So Cancer. And then we have Gemini and Scorpio left. Yes, we have two. We have the Star reversed. Two of Wands reversed. What the heck? Cancers, you're going to feel that your life is a little bit upside down. You will be very moody. You know, let me just kind of like give you a big hug. That usually happens when your birthday's over, because we all feel very powerful. And I don't know if you check Leo's reading, like, I mean, it was not all that rosy, but since you have this huge enormous energy, the sun is in your house, it just feels like nothing else really, everything else bounces a few more or less. And then all of the celebrations and everything kind of like finished, then you're exhausted. And that's kind of like what I see here. Again, I'm seeing two major arcanas. They're both reversed. They're both very interesting. They're both very fixed, right? This represents Aquarian energy. This represents Taurus energy of some sort, right? Very, very different energies. So this is like about nourishment, and this is like you must do this, right? You kind of like have to obtain these keys, and in order to obtain these keys you have to go through some kind of like ritualistic kind of like things. But together is like 22, and 2 is 24. So that 2 and 4 adds to 6, which really talks about getting along, which really talks about other people in your life. So I don't know if you have Aquarians or Taurus in your life, or if you have fire sign, earth sign, or air sign that are really showing out here. But this is really telling me that there is like something that in your life you feel it's hopeless, and this could be your marriage. This could be maybe potential of marriage. Maybe like you want to get married and somebody's not looking into that bowl, because this card ultimately is about looking in your bowl. But this is your world. What kind of world you want to live in, what kind of world you want to build for yourself. And when this reverses, this bowl is dropping, and it's saying, "Who to care?" You know, you kind of like your enthusiasm is not there. So I don't know. Like, I mean, if somebody is kind of like woke you up too early and you got up on the wrong side of the bed, kind of a thing, but something is happening that you are just simply not seeing something happening. You're not seeing some kind of commitment. You're not. Kind of like, to me this is a marriage card, and to me this is the ultimately non-marriage card, right? So how are they both showing up, and they're both in a kind of like reversed kind of situation? Because this is about everything is possible. It's not necessarily that you're anti-marriage in this card, but it is kind of like all possibilities are on the table, an equal amount of marriage commitment and non-marriage and complete freedom. But it's kind of like more tending toward freedom, this being card number 8. It's kind of like building something that is a legacy, if you really wish, where this is more or less, okay, I have to go slow and steady through strict rules of some sort. So there is like some kind of debate for you. It's kind of like, as I said, you're like, it's adding up to interpersonal relationships. You will probably have to look into that. Who is making you feel inadequate in your life? Who is maybe saddling you up with some maybe overly strict rules? It's going to be something like that you will really need to deal with, and kind of like really comprehend what's happening. So let me see what additional messages we can get here. Ooh, there we go. We have a widower. So there is like some kind of sense that somebody feels that things are over. So hence, what the heck? You know, that usually shows about the laziness of some kind of like rebuilding it. So the widower also talks about somebody really being so sad, but now understanding it is time to kind of like start putting one foot in front of the another. It's time to start moving forward, right? Let me see. The Hierophant is the sweetheart, and 2 other cards showed up. And look, widower and widow, and sweetheart and journey. Like, that something died. I mean, this doesn't have to be a person that died, but I can see the hope is not freaking there anymore. And you know, maybe somebody is just not achievable because somebody maybe doesn't, you feel somebody doesn't want to stay married, or somebody doesn't want to marry, or somebody is just moving away from you, because that's the sweetheart with the journey. Now this is really puzzling reading. It can have quite a few interpretations, guys. For this particular one, I can really spend another half an hour longer to go, but this is really interesting that some format that is known to you is no longer there. It's just kind of like two people looking at something that cannot be resurrected of some sort, and you're like really painfully aware of that. Maybe you tried to follow everything by the rules, or you felt you did, or there is some kind of letdown of some sort, and that's really interesting. Actually, if you guys can leave me a comment, that would be really interesting, because I'm feeling these are messages for more scenarios than one that are really happening over here. So yes, Sally, Sagittarius has been done at 3512. You can go down to this, and we are down to the last two, Gemini and Scorpio, and the Scorpio will go first. Scorpio, let's see what we have for you. Scorpio. All right, Scorpio. What do we get here? We have the Page of Rods, we have Ace of Pentacles, and then we have 10 of Swords. Now that's confusing. Oh my gosh, it must be feeling okay, so I did have some thoughts, suggestions coming to me. So first of all, Page of Rods is somebody who has extraordinary energy, either up or down. This might even be a person with more energy, but person maybe who is not invested into something anymore when it comes reversed. You know, like when somebody's really into you and you really enjoy it, they kind of like make you fall in love with them, and then equally they just drop you just like the way they kind of like pick up that emotion with you. And maybe you kind of like already start basing some future and some emotions and some hope on everything that was going on, but there is like some kind of like lack of astuteness that I feel in the situation. When Page of Rods come reversed, we are really talking about somebody who is really not sure about themselves. It's after all Page, and as I told you, Page and Aces are very simply kind of like very similar. It's almost like on the next level, so it'd be almost like Page of Ace of Wands with Ace of Pentacles. So it could be something from the past that is resurrecting. And maybe you're Scorpio, you have this karmic role your entire life. Things keep coming up. It's almost like you're like a cleaning lady in this life, not for the tables, not for the cars, but for the things that kind of like need to be done, right? So you need to kind of like remove all this karmic debt. And because your sign is very karmic, all fixed signs are very karmic. You are kind of like one that is really more fixed than any other one, but you are that water that moves kind of like slower, but it's very steady. It makes enormous impact, right? So Ace of Pentacles is about setting kind of like a new goals, going in your direction, and there is like some negativity in that expectations. There is anticipation of people hurting you, or people not going all the way. Maybe this is based, maybe this is simply talking about some attitudes from the past where people did let you down, and where you did pick yourself up, just like fixed signs do. And because that's the benefit of a fixed sign, we kind of don't give up. We kind of like know the system we have built, we have tried them working. If it doesn't work, we redefine them until it works, and when it works, we know it works, and nobody's going to change your mind. Nobody is like kind of like beat your spirit. But this is going to be something really hard. It might be somebody who will tell you that they are not willing to go and take the walk with you or go that far, or you might notice that maybe somebody's attitude is causing hurt of some sort, right? So that's where things kind of like really end. But the 10 of Swords is not necessarily a bad card. It means that if there were any hardships, It means that if, you felt that there is a darkness, or, that you cannot resolve a situation, this is over. And now you're just going to, this is rock bottom. It might be kind of like one of those situations, because look at this is 11. It's a karmic situation, 10 and 1, 11. And in this karmic situation, something is being decided for you. Something is reaching this clarity. You have clean more of this karmic debris if you wish. And when you clean this debris, then you reach the clarity, because you have already walked through this gate. You just need to remove something that is really blocking it. So just think about it. It's just something you need to get over or around, and that is kind of going to be very, very important, right? So karmic cleaning lady, it's when you handle, actually it's not bad, it's good for a movie too, right? So let me see what else I see here. Misfortune. Maybe you're feeling misfortune in love. Oh man, like you're such a big sign in love, but I really don't think it's misfortune, because that attitude, oh, why is this happening to me, is going to soon be replaced with understanding that something has happened for a reason. Things have happened for a reason. Let's get one more. Baby, love and baby. And baby is like not necessarily pregnancy, but it is like something is giving birth. Let's say you have a very difficult pregnancy that is always wobbly, and you don't know if it's going to happen, not going to happen. Everybody's giving you all the scary stories. Doctors are warning about the things, and that's kind of like, oh my gosh, what can go wrong next, kind of a thing. But things do happen. Things do come through. Things do come through. So do not lose faith. Do not lose hope. I know you want, but it's going to feel like you need to really buckle up for unexpected events happening in the next 2 weeks until we meet next, right? So let's see what the CBO music saying. It's time for us to sell our home, and it feels like it's a turning point. Yeah, that will be it, because you're probably feeling, oh my God, all over kind of a thing. Yeah, it's a bittersweet time, all related to a new stage in our lives, that we are grandparents. You know what? It could be a new thing, making kind of like alumnus for the grandparents, and just saying, okay, you guys come, but you go, because we have done our duty, kind of a thing. And Gemini, you're the last one today, so let's see what messages you get. Usually the last signs, they get quite a bit of the messages, and there is a reason why kind of like this delay happens for almost, well, one of these signs tried to crawl under my box. Imagine if we didn't have the next time Taurus, they would not like that. They would go, what the heck is going on? You don't like us, cat, anymore? Sometimes I get these like weird people and telling me, you don't like our sign. Actually, the best part was like they were telling me this about Aquarius. It's just like as if somehow I just really want to put this, like, I mean, I don't like this sign. It's just crazy. But hey, people are people. So let's see. Let's see, Geminis. You're having the star. Very nice. You're having the chair. There we go. 2 major arcanas. Already know something big is happening. And one more. And you got a few more. So you got Page of Rods. You're getting Page of Swords, and you're getting 2 of Swords reversed. So something is happening. This entire period for you is starting with some big goals. This is very spiritual combination. This is no longer read as the star or as the chariot, right? Individually, they have different, completely different kind of like tokens. But here, not necessarily so much in this deck. Usually in the other decks you have in the chariot. Actually, you have it here as well. I'm seeing it. You see the stars are in his crown, right? So he is connecting, he's going toward her. There's like some methodology in this madness over here. You guys are either going through some kind of spiritual motion or some kind of spiritual retreat. You are kind of like getting messages from God, from universe of some sort, right? 2017 and 7, 24, so it's again 6 is going back down to you. It's going back to relationship, interpersonal relationships. You're kind of like getting a clue of some sort. And then you're going to become just chatty yourself, really, really chatty, like Page of Rods, Page of Swords, right? So that could be kind of like you doing things. Maybe you're getting these visions. Maybe you're starting a new course. Maybe you're starting a new process. Something really feels very hopeful. Maybe you're starting a new relationship with somebody who's very different than the partners that you had so far. You're maybe very enthused with this, and you're asking lots of questions, right? But also it's getting you stuck, because you're kind of like getting to the situation, kind of like facing it. It's unknown ground. It's kind of like something you haven't dealt with before. She's kind of like dropping this confusion in this particular stage when this is reversed. It's more or less following your heart. And you generally, being an air sign, you follow your head, right? Because look at this, air and air and air. But she coming last, this Two of Swords lady, who is also blindfolded, she's like really, really clear that her world is going to be upside down. But instead of controlling it, right, as we air signs do, and we control it sometimes with motion, with structure, like, I mean, you are controlling this with communication. You're always so chatty that you're trying to have things around you kind of like react to you in your way of how you deal with this. But I feel that somebody's engaging you on a very interesting level. It's almost like a child, that there is like some kind of engagement that I feel which is very immature. But being immature, it's exactly what a doctor prescribed. It's going to feel light, it's going to feel enthusiastic, it's going to feel that you can be yourself. You know, children don't necessarily have this baggage where somebody 3 times tell you you are, you know, B word or C word, you cross them out of your life, right? I'm not saying this is going to happen. No, nothing like that. But like I'm saying, like, if somebody says something wrong, it's not going to be this misjudged. It's not going to have the same implication that you're pushing somebody's buttons, right? And it's going to feel different because you're also going to start almost like seeing yourself from the outside. You're going to see yourself that you're going in some kind of direction that is completely different. Like the universe is lifting you up. There's like a big lift off. So just think about, the star is already talking about hope, and you're going to this new place, and the chariot is like, I mean, universal kind of like lift off of some sort to the stars, where there is like, I mean, this vision that is really showing up to you. So you're going to feel very very energized. You're going to feel very enthusiastic about either a new person, or, and it's not going to be, if it's a person, it's not going to be the person who is going to adhere to regular beauty standards at all, and yet you're going to be drawn to this person like a moth to a flame. So it's going to be really, really interesting. So there you go. Heidi says it keeps cutting out when I get the new ad and then I come back. Oh, the ads are showing off? I thought to turn this off. Okay, must be the heat. I live in Wisconsin, having issues with my Wi-Fi too. No, this is also Mercury retrograde. We are still dealing with this. Okay, Gemini, you have some money, you have constancy. Did I tell you, like, it's a spiritual thing? You're being watched over here. And then we have fidelity and loyalty over here, right? You're going to feel completely different, right? Because your sign is generally predestined to feel always uncertain. You always feel like, I don't know, sure, I can be loyal part of the way, I can do this monogamy thing, but I'm really intrigued with everything, and it's not that I want to cheat, but I just really like to learn, and sometimes it gets in trouble, right? But there's like something here that's happening. I don't know why some money showed up here. It more or less would show like resources of some sort that maybe you are reassessing if something is doable, but it's not going to be a big thing, because it almost like feels like things are going to be provided for you. So just keep going and don't allow these mundane things and mundane thoughts and trying to retract back to, hey, you know, I would prefer kind of like things to be done on my terms. Kind of like get into your field, because this is good. Whatever is happening, it's sort of like happening, it's kind of like giving you a lesson. It's almost like grabbing you from your regular path and saying, look at this, look at this. Almost like I feel like it's you're some kind of Aladdin on that magic carpet, kind of like going in different directions. So that's going to be really interesting. And lastly, guys, you're going to go one more time, yes or no questions. In a similar way, I'm going to do with Lenormand. I'm going to do 3 runs. So you have to decide, do you want to run door number 1, run number 1, run number 2, and run number 3. So just decide for yourself in your head, do you want 1, 2, or 3? And I'm going to give you a yes or no question, right? So if it's run number 1, and not the same question that you had before, it just makes no sense. Because imagine, you know, you go to your boss or you go for a job interview and they ask you, do you want a job? Yes. Do you want a job? No. Right? So that's where you're sending this confusion to the universe when you ask the same question twice and asking different answers, right? That kind of like would be, okay, well, maybe you really don't want that kind of a thing. That's when it's kind of like taken away from you. Okay. So, door number 1, or the run number 1 for a yes or no question is this. Okay, is it going to be yes, or is it going to be a no? Is it going to be a yes, or is it going to be a no? Okay, so well, this leans more toward no, but it's not going to be something that is going to be fully determined over here. It's not going to happen in these 2 weeks, I'm going to tell you this, but this is something that still may happen. So that's kind of like where we are with this one. So let's see. For door number 2 or the run number 2, let's see if you ask yes or no. Let's see what's going to happen here. What's that? Oh. Cards are, oh my god, I was just saying, cards are not coming out, and then the whole bunch went out. So let's see what's going to happen here. What do we get out of this? These are all no's. Look, it's neutral. It can go either way. It's absolutely neutral. I started like as a big no, but I have equal amount of pluses and minuses, exactly an equal amount. Let's just in a case that we really need to reach a decision for this one, let's just grab one more card. And that one is, again, maybe yes, but it's leaning toward positive. So the second one is there. And let's go the third one. Let's go the third one. Guys, if you didn't like, please like before you leave. That kind of helps. And let's see. The door is number 3. Run number 3. Is it yes or no? 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 I think we have enough cards. Did something else flick? No. Alright, so let's see what we have here. These are no's, these are yeses, so it's kind of like if I remove them, we are still staying with 2 no's, so this one will be no as well. So yeah, as you can see, Lenormand is really tough when it comes to that. Tarot is more or less giving you guidance. You have to turn left, you have to turn right without giving you exact yes or no, and that's why it's always good when you get a reading to combine the two. So this is it from me. We managed to get it in an hour and a half. It's really comfortable time for everybody, I believe. And let's big round of applause for everybody who was here, and the biggest one for Barbie, who is going to be posting the timestamp soon, so you can come back and revisit. And so there you go, guys. You know that I love you. I'm going to play some music here for you, and I'll be seeing you very, very soon. In 2 weeks, I believe, is it on the 8th or on the 9th? Oh, I put it wrongly. I put it here. It is until the 8th, which it isn't. It is actually until on the 8th we are going to have, and I'm going to edit it right now, if it lets me, the 8th, August 8th, that's the Lionsgate. We are going to have a new date on that day. So that's going to work. So I love you guys. I wish you all the best. And let's play some music. And you guys have a great weekend.